All right, it is Friday, January 10th. Let's jump right into it. Let's see if I can do this in 5 minutes. A lot going on this week. The big drama of the week was basically a fight between J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson, the mayor, so the governor and the mayor. The governor wanted to pass a bill that would restrict the sale of hemp-derived products, basically synthetic weed. I didn't want it to be sold because it is allegedly harmful to children and is being marketed to children. So he tried to pass this bill. Brandon Johnson, for whatever reason, decided to expend his political capital, calling all the Democratic lawmakers that he has good relationships with in the House, and got the bill killed. And this pissed JB off. This doesn't seem like a particularly important bill, and he managed to piss off JB enough that he did a whole big news conference openly criticizing the mayor, saying the mayor never reaches out, saying the mayor blows off meetings with him, never calls, etc. So there's a whole big tiff this week between the two, which was interesting to watch. Meanwhile, after all of this, aldermen in Chicago ended up, some of them started making moves to banning the sale of what JB wanted to ban anyway, so the mayor's move seems to be a bit moot anyways. While this is going on, the ethics board of Chicago, the president of it, came out and said that what the mayor has been saying all along about his getting the okay from the ethics board to be part of the CTU contract negotiations, because remember, he is technically still employed by the CTU. He's been saying all along that he got the okay from the ethics board. Turns out, not the case. So that was a thing. Susanna Mendoza, you should start remembering her name. She ran for mayor last time around. She's the comptroller of Illinois, whatever that is. She will probably be the front runner, it seems like, in the next election, barring big changes. She has been starting to really aggressively criticize the mayor, bringing her guns out. So that is also interesting to see, and she did a bunch of that this week amidst the JB versus Johnson stuff. In corruption, Michael Madigan, the former Speaker of the Illinois House, who wielded power in the Illinois House for like 40 years, he's on corruption trial right now. He basically decided to take the witness stand, which is extremely rare this week, out of a last-ditch attempt to save himself, essentially. But it seems like he's going down, which is good. Corruption is bad. Some aldermen proposed something to allow Chicago police to cooperate with ICE. It's going to get significantly shot down, but it caused a whole big kerfuffle at the tail end of the week, with the mayor scrambling to basically announce that this was not a thing. He was not for it. And then separately, a state lawmaker introduced a bill in the House to allow the mayor of Chicago to be recalled. That will get shot down too, but again, lots of drama. All right, moving on to the economy. There was a global traffic survey that came out this past week showing that Chicago has the worst traffic in the country, tied with New York, and only behind Istanbul in Turkey. So that's fun, and it's relevant in the economy section because this week New York just passed what's called congestion pricing, which is basically a higher fee to enter the downtown in Chicago, in New York, if you're in a car, at highly congested times of day, so at rush hour, in the morning and in the evening. The whole point is to try to decongest traffic so that fewer people will drive at those periods of time because they would have to pay a fee. It was very controversial in New York. It was delayed for a while, and then it finally went into practice. And in the first week, it seems to be a resounding success. So now Chicago aldermen are talking about it here, and it seems like they may introduce something in the near future, at least to study it and potentially adopt it. So you may have to pay a fee to come into River North and the Loop, and maybe even West Loop sometime in the next couple of years. In other news, the teachers' contract negotiation, the CTU contract negotiation continues. The city and or CPS and CTU still are decently far apart. The teachers want 24%. CTU wants 24% raise over 4 years. City wants 16% raise. Hopefully they'll come closer together. Either one would make Chicago teachers, most positions, the highest paid in the country, even including New York. I think that's partly just because of the timing of the contract raises. New York will probably do their own soon, but it just shows you where the level is. Real quick, the city council, aldermen seem to be moving forward with a proposal to reduce the speed limit on city streets from 30 miles per hour to 25. There's going to be a vote next week. That was delayed for a handful of months when Brandon Johnson wanted to study it more to see if it would have equity, differential equity impacts throughout the city. Seems like it's not, so it's going forward. And yeah, so you might have to drive a bit slower on Chicago streets. The Kennedy Express lanes are reported to be finally reopening next week or the week after. There is an upzoning planned along Broadway in Edgewater and Uptown, meaning bigger buildings will be allowed, more denser buildings will be allowed to be built along Broadway and Edgewater and Uptown, making the area have more people and be denser and have more retail and so on. So that looks like it's going through, and that's big news because it's a pretty big stretch, and it's, I think, the first time Chicago's done something so big all at once in a big area in at least a while, if not ever. Lastly, in CTA news, Dorwell Carter has not been fired yet, per the Twitter account. It came out this week that he's supposed to face the city council quarterly, basically to give a report to the city council, but he hasn't done so since last May, one of the times he missed, allegedly because he was sick and they did not reschedule. However, it seems like the funds for the Red Line South extension, so to the southern border of Chicago, appear to be locked in. They had a big press conference this week saying that they're locked in, that we fully got them. Trump can't pull them back. So hopefully that's true. And so hopefully we'll have the CTA, the L, go from the north of Chicago all the way to the south. And that is your weekly report. Over and out.